It's more like $150 million on its way to 250 have moved into crypto super PACs. Now, those super PACs are supposed to support crypto candidates, and they have. Right now, in the minds of the guys running the super PACs, you know, the anti-crypto people in vulnerable races happen to be Democrats. And so they became de facto Republican PACs. And yes, this is a direct response. That's how politics works.
Yeah.
The Democrats, and I kept saying to my Democratic friends, how stupid are you guys going to be to take a issue over a technology and lose some elections over it?
We're only 5 months into 2024, yet January saw the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission approve 7 spot Bitcoin ETFs after 10 years of disappointments. BlackRock's iShares Success Bitcoin Trust Fidelity's Past Wisdom Bitcoin Fund and other spot Bitcoin ETFs have been remarkable, boosting Bitcoin and other crypto asset prices in March to a new all-time high of $773,000 before the much-anticipated HING event. Since Bitcoin ETFs were approved, there have been several exciting and interesting developments, but nothing as exciting as what's happening on the regulatory front, according to Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz. On May 16, 2024, the U.S. Senate voted 6038 to repeal the SEC's Staff Accounting Bulletin 121 SAB. This law required organizations holding digital assets for consumers to comply with strict accounting and disclosure criteria. Its repeal highlights the ongoing dispute over crypto industry regulation. Several days after SAB 121 was repealed, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, which seeks to establish a regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies and delineates responsibilities between crypto and non-crypto entities. While speaking at CoinDesk's Consensus 2024 conference in Austin, Texas, Novogratz stressed the importance of regulatory reform and how it's opening the door for tens of trillions of dollars to flow into Bitcoin and the digital asset space.
And I think there's been a seismic shift in the crypto political landscape in the last 2 weeks. And it started really with kind of a bizarre missive from the White House that said President Biden is going to veto the overturn of SAB 21. And when you think about that, you've got a president pre-announcing he's going to veto an arcane accounting rule that the SEC had filed. Like, you're like, why? And Donald Trump, over the savvy political machine, says, wait a minute, I'm going to be the crypto president. A lot of people like that stuff, Bitcoin. I don't like it so much myself, but I tell you, you like it, I'm going to support you. I'm going to be your president. And, you know, for years, I've been in DC trying to tell people this should be a bipartisan issue. It needs to be a bipartisan issue. Telling my Democratic friends, guys, don't keep poking the beast. And that was the day the beast got poked, right? I tweeted, wow, the Democratic Party has decided they're going to be the party that doesn't like dogs, right? There are more crypto owners in America than there are dog owners. And a lot of them are single issue voters. In that week, that was it. You could see it on crypto Twitter. People got fierce. It almost became a purity test. If you don't vote Republican, you're not really a crypto guy. And the Democratic Party heard that. And so what did you see? First you saw 9 Democratic senators cross the aisle on SAB 121, which is really an arcane accounting rule that will allow TradFi custodians into our space, right? And so that's a big deal, including Senator Schumer, the head of the Senate, and more importantly from New York, where there are a lot of crypto jobs. The same day, or 2 days later, the SEC says, well, calls up all the ETF applicants, get ready. I don't know what happened. It certainly feels like someone from the White House called Mr. Gensler and said, dude, you got to change your stance. It's the only thing that logically makes sense. Of course, I wasn't there. I can't tell you for sure. But now we've got an ETF coming. That's hated crypto. They didn't. I'd go to DC all the time, and there was plenty of Democrats that understood it, that liked it, and believed we need good regulation for our country. Guys like Richie Torres or Jake Auchincloss, even Hakeem Jeffries, you know, the Democratic leader of the House, completely got it. Elizabeth Warren had a huge sway over crypto politics. And if anything happened in the last 2 weeks, her party said, Elizabeth, enough. Now you've got us in hot water with this giant group of crypto voters in a very tight election year, and we don't appreciate it. And so in lots of ways, you can look at this as a giant rebuff of Elizabeth Warren. It's great for all of us because it has gotten the wheels of movement going forward, right? We passed FIT 121. That's a great start. That's now in the Senate, right? The way DC works, right? The House passes bills and the Republicans and the Senate makes laws. And so the most important person right now is Debbie Stabenow, the senator from Michigan, right? Because she's the chair of the Ag Committee where this bill is going to be, the Senate version is going to be built bipartisanly out of the Ag Committee. And if that gets through, those two can decide, Schumer will put it to a vote, and if it gets through, it's going to be law.
Mike Novogratz has been working hard for years to make sure the cryptocurrency business has the right rules. In 2021 and 2022, he worked closely with Senators Cynthia Lummis and Kirsten Gillibrand on their bipartisan crypto bill, so it's no surprise that he's happy about these new developments. In a post on the social media site X, the CEO of Galaxy Digital said, "This week has been a defining moment for the U.S. digital asset market. Important steps are being taken to provide much-needed regulatory clarity, protects customers, and encourages new ideas in the United States. I will always fully back the idea that crypto should be an issue for both parties. It's an exciting time for the industry." New VG is also excited because of how much money has been put into Bitcoin and soon enough Ethereum and other CTO currencies through exchange-traded funds. Beginning of the month, Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas said that Millennium Management LLC, one of the biggest investment management firms in the world, had put about $2 billion into Bitcoin ETFs. According to Balchunas, Millennium Management LLC is one of 500 holders of spot Bitcoin ETFs, which is about 200 times the average number of holders for a new ETF. The 500 holders include pension funds, hedge funds, investment advisors, and family offices. Now that everyone has been heard, let's go back to Novogratz campfire chat.
Being passed or being overturned, and the market infrastructure bill, right? What does the accounting rule do? It allows Bank of New York and State Street, the world's biggest custodians, to start custodying crypto. And the market structure bill, not good for me because the day after it passes, Citibank's going to be calling the headhunters to call for my employees. But what has stopped Wall Street at large from being a participant in the digital markets is regulatory uncertainty. It's the fear that the Fed is going to call and say, no, you can't do that. The fear the SEC is going to be down their throat. The fear that they're going to get a Wells notice, just like almost all the crypto companies. And so as that goes away, you will see a stampede of Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and Citibank and Jefferies and everybody else into this space. I'm hoping, in some ways, I hope it gets delayed a little bit, allows guys like us to build our muscles a little stronger, because that's really when the big show happens on who's going to be the service providers to the universe that comes in. And so, yeah, the first movers are wealth management clients who said, I want some of this. And just so you know, places like Morgan Stanley, they need that ETF to season for a little more than 3 months before their salesmen are even allowed to pick up the phone and call and say, hey, guy in the white hat in the front row, I think you should put 2% of your portfolio into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And remember, people don't just buy Bitcoin, they get orange pilled. Bitcoin is sold, right? There's an army, all of you are part of it, that convince someone of the merits of crypto, of Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ripple if you're Brad Garlinghouse, right? This is a really interesting point. Because it's a new asset, it almost is always sold, right? Larry Fink got orange pilled. He didn't wake up one day and say, God, let me become a Bitcoin firm. There was a concerted effort by 10, 12 people to convince him of why Bitcoin was important for the future. And so now you've got hundreds of salesmen at Morgan Stanley and the other, RIAs all around America who are learning the story themselves and picking up the phone and telling their clients, put 2% of your portfolio, what are you scared of? Right? That conversation is starting to happen. This is a 10-year conversation, not a 10-week conversation. Two things that people really like. We all know there are $45 trillion of baby boomer wealth sitting in the registered investment advisors. That's a giant amount of wealth. It's the single richest age group in the history of the planet. And they're gonna die. Just like Charlie Munger passed away, God rest his soul, and that money is going to younger people, and younger people like crypto. So as we see this generational shift of wealth, it is shifting into a group that is really happy with digital assets, that is comfortable with digital assets, that they think this is their asset class. And so that's the one thing. And the second is we have a government that can't keep its pants on. Like, we have a government that can't stop spending money. On the left and on the right, Congress is failing us as citizens. They are spending too much, and that is the narrative for why Bitcoin goes higher. The same narrative for gold and silver is the narrative for Bitcoin. That's not going away.
Even though Elizabeth Warren and other anti-crypto Democrats are clearly losing, they won't give up without at least one last fight. After losing over and over again over the past few weeks, the Massachusetts senator now wants to know how the Biden administration is handling the use of cryptocurrencies in the trafficking of fentanyl. A letter was recently sent by Warren and Republican Senator Bill Cassidy to the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA. They asked for updates on what is being done to stop drug traffickers from using cryptocurrency to make money and hide their illegal gains. A part of the letter says cryptocurrency has played an increasingly prominent role in the global FL trade over the past decade, both in terms of facilitating the manufacturing and trafficking of fentanyl and in laundering. Drug cartels' criminal proceeds, according to the letter, the agencies have until June 14th to give their response about how significant a role they think cryptocurrency plays in drug trafficking, what new initiatives will be implemented in the next 12 months, and what metrics will be used to measure the success in combating illicit cryptocurrency use in the fentanyl trade. Warren has been known to use misconstrued data in her efforts to portray the cryptocurrency industry in a negative light. She also conveniently ignores data showing that fiat currencies play a larger role in illicit activities than cryptocurrencies. Fortunately, she is losing the war, and very soon even her powerful banker donors will get aboard the crypto train. Please share your thoughts on Mike Novogratz's interview in the comment section below. Also ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.